In a recent post, I was critical of the movement to reframe empathy as a weakness, and I came across a comment that caught my eye. It says, empathy starts as a strength, but unfortunately our society quickly makes it a weakness. The objective is to keep empathy balanced and not expected, but appreciated. That way, the scabs of the planet don't ruin it for everyone else, including the people that deserve it. So empathy should be balanced but not expected and given only to those who deserve it. Well, that's not balance, that's gatekeeping, that's moral favoritism. And then there's the word scab, a term of contempt that spits on the idea of a shared humanity. The implication being that some people are beneath empathy, they're subhuman and disposable. So I'm going to summon up some empathy for you because I think what I hear in this comment is exhaustion. Maybe someone who's been burnt too many times or gave a little too much without being met halfway. And maybe now you're trying to protect yourself by walling off entire groups of people. I know I felt that way before, and maybe you have too. However, we need to face the reality that empathy doesn't become a weakness just because the world is cruel. In fact, that's when it becomes more necessary. When the world falls apart, empathy is what tells us to look at each other and say, I see you and I got you. Not what can you offer me or are you worthy? And we got to flip the script on that bullshit because empathy is the foundation for everything that we would call a public good. It's what makes people fight for public schools, for clean water, for libraries, for universal health care. Systems rooted in the radical idea that no one should be left behind. You see, it takes empathy to build those, and it requires no empathy to privatize them for profit. You don't need compassion to sell off public housing or to watch a rural hospital close because you've cut Medicare. You see, you don't need empathy to tell someone if you can't pay, then you don't deserve care. In fact, it's empathy that gets in the way of those decisions because it reminds you that these are people, not profit margins. So when you say empathy should be appreciated but not expected, I challenge that. Empathy should be expected, especially from those in power, especially in public policy, especially when systems are breaking people. We don't need less empathy. We need a culture that refuses to apologize for having it. So no, I don't buy your argument, but I still see you. And I have empathy for you and for those that you would write off. Because the moment we start deciding who gets to be human and who doesn't, we've already surrendered to the very worst parts of ourselves. And remember, a scab is what you see when your wound is trying to heal. Be kind and wash your behind.